Have you ever felt like your body's working against you? Like you're doing everything right, eating clean, taking supplements, seeing doctors, but you still don't feel like yourself? Have you ever wondered, God, why is this happening? Did I miss something? Can I actually heal? Or is this just my new normal?
If you've ever felt confused, dismissed, or even betrayed by your own body, then this conversation is for you. Because what if your symptoms aren't random? What if your body isn't broken but responding? And what if God wants to meet you right here in your healing journey? Grab a coffee, pull up a seat, and let's have some spirit filled girl talk. Do you long for deeper connection with God, kingdom purpose, and peace that isn't shaken by life's storms, and spirit filled friendships to walk it out with?
Welcome to Spirit Filled Girl Talk, the podcast for modern Christian women done with surface level faith, ready to live surrendered and cultivate life giving sisterhood.
We're your hosts, Satin,
And Sarah.
two best friends, refined through seasons of surrender, inviting you into real conversations about walking with Jesus in everyday life.
So grab your coffee,
Open your heart.
and get ready for some spirit filled girl talk. Welcome back to Spirit Filled Girl Talk. And today, as part of our Your Body is His Temple series, we're just going to be sharing from our own journeys with our health. And we're going to be talking specifically about breast implant illness. This is Sarah talking, just because I know a lot of you have said that you can't tell who's talking because we both sound the same.
That's so funny.
So this is Sarah talking, and part of my journey is, becoming a holistic health practitioner because I went through something with my own health and wasn't able to find answers or solutions from the conventional medical model or even functional medicine or
Sure.
naturopathic medicine. It all kind of failed me. And so this is kind of how I got into all of this, is my own trial with my health. And it lasted many, many years.
Yeah.
And so we're going to get into all of that today. And I just want to start off by saying that I have been talking about breast implant illness for so many years, and we're really only going to talk about this on this podcast once.
Yeah.
Because I'm actually kind of tired of talking about it.
Yeah.
But I do think it's an important topic to share from a place of lived experience, because there are so many women who have breast implants. And I don't know what the numbers are now, but I want to say the last time I looked, it was close to 300,000 women in the United States alone receive breast implants.
Wow.
I think that number is starting to decline. I don't know for certain, but I think I might have read recently that that number is starting to decline.
That's good.
And there are a lot of women actually having their breast implants removed
Sure.
because of health complications.
Yeah.
And most of these women are just simply unaware,
Yeah.
like you and I were,
Yeah.
simply unaware of the potential risk
Yeah.
that breast implants pose to our health.
Mhm.
And I just want to also point out that before I just focus solely on breast implants, this pertains to any implantable device.
Mhm.
And things like Botox
Mhm.
and filler are also considered implantable devices. They are, regardless of what your injector tells you,
Yes.
they are permanent.
Yep.
And they've actually proven this by doing imaging on deceased individuals many, many years after they've deceased, right? And so cadavers also show on imaging that filler is still there.
Wow.
All right. And when people, I could go down a rabbit hole here. I don't want to go down the rabbit hole, but let me just really quickly say, because I know someone will say, oh, but I can just have it dissolved with hyaluronidase or whatnot. And okay, sure, that might be true. But also what you don't know is that that hyaluronidase enzyme also eats away your own collagen at the same time. It's not selective, right? So like there's so many things that people just don't know.
Yeah.
They're completely misinformed. They're getting incorrect information from their injector or from their doctor, and they're just trusting it.
Yeah.
And that's how we end up in a world of hurt.
Yep.
So it's important to do your own research, be very aware of the potential risks, and to make an informed decision. There's no judgment here. We've been in that position as well,
Yep.
making decisions like this.
For sure.
And what we're sharing today is coming from a place of, just like I said, lived experience and wanting to share information and that experience with you so that you have something to go off of in order to make informed decisions.
Sure.
And we're going to tie this into kind of the your body is this temple theme of our podcast. We're going to talk about this from a spiritual lens as well. All right. So just going to start, I want to share with you a little bit about my experience with breast implants. And so, gosh, we've talked a lot about, where some of our beliefs come from. And even in the Known and Loved series that we did not that long ago, we talked about the unreliable narrator.
Yeah.
Right. From that book.
Yeah.
And so my unreliable narrator was my grandma when I was very young. And that's kind of where this desire for breast implants or large breasts started, is this, something that she said to me as a young child that really stuck with me. And she didn't mean anything harmful by it.
Sure.
She's a very loving, caring woman, and she's one of my best friends to this day. And so, this isn't to like condemn her or, paint her in a bad light.
Sure.
This is just these things happen. Parents all the time say things that they just unknowingly don't mean to have a negative impact on their child, but they do.
Right.
Right. And when we're children, we're just a little sponge. We're soaking up everything. We're soaking up everything we see and hear around us, and we're making meaning out of that. Meaning about who we are, what the world is like, understanding the world around us and learning how to live in it.
Yeah.
And be liked, right? To be loved, to be valuable,
Yeah.
to be seen and heard and known and all of that, right? That's just ultimately what we want.
Yeah.
And so I didn't develop the Johnson boobs like I was promised by my grandma. But, when I didn't, I felt like I was not a real woman. And I, for a long time when I was a kid, stuffed my bra and, tried to look like I had bigger boobs than I did. Body image has always been a struggle for me, even though I was very, very thin, stick thin, actually, growing up, all through high school and college and all of that. People used to make fun of me and tell me that I looked anorexic, and not so much in high school, but in junior high for sure. And I had a lot of unreliable narrators, and I believed it.
Yeah.
And I got really into fitness in my late 20s and my early 30s. And that obsession, it became an obsession. That obsession led to me getting breast implants. And it was a really strange situation initially because I thought, oh God, this is just going to complete what I believe is the perfect body, and I'm just going to feel so good about myself. It had nothing to do with my husband. He didn't want me to get them. It was just all about me and what I saw in the mirror.
Sure.
And I remember going under the anesthesia and thinking in that moment, oh my God, what am I doing? But it was too late. And I woke up and it wasn't love at first sight. I cried for a long time. I didn't love what I saw. I felt very much a disconnect when I looked in the mirror between what I was seeing that wasn't real. It wasn't my body. I wasn't born with it. And what I thought I had wanted. And what I had been used to seeing in the mirror all those years. And so it was interesting. No one really warned me that that was a possibility. But eventually I did grow to love them. I never had any symptoms in my life to speak of. Maybe some PMS, menstrual cramps, things like that, your typical, girl things. But it wasn't until breast implants that I started experiencing symptoms. And I was also, I think it's important that we understand that chronic illness, which is what I developed, is never about just one thing,
Mm-hmm.
right? So we can't put all the blame on the breast implants. I
Right.
think that's so important to grasp,
For sure.
because people come across this idea of breast implant illness and they think, oh my gosh, this is it. This is
Mm-hmm.
my problem. I'm just going to explant and I'm going to be all better. And let me tell you,
No.
most of the time that is not the case.
Right.
But what you see on the internet is that scenario
Yeah.
over and over and over again, which
Mhm.
paints this picture that is just not true.
Right.
So we need a reality check here. I had a horrible diet my entire life. I ate junk. I didn't like healthy food.
Mm-hmm.
I ate fast food and garbage and candy and sodas and chips and, all those things. Anything that came in a box.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of grew up eating that way.
Sure.
And so it just followed me into my adult life.
Hamburger helper.
Yep. Yep. So gross. Um, yes. I was a nurse for many, many years, and I worked night shift for many years. Really, really hard on the body. I was killing myself at the gym, breaking my body down. And at the same time, there were things in my past that contributed to, different emotional traumas, things like that. I had just a lot of things that kind of accumulated over time. And the breast implants became the straw that broke the camel's back. The things I mean, this is not an exhaustive list by any means that I experienced, but it started off with incredible anxiety and weight gain, despite, my best efforts. Really bad PMS and incredibly, excruciatingly painful periods, to the point where I started to have to manage my whole life around them, including my work schedule.
Wow.
And I would be in such agony. This is like sort of TMI, but you're all mostly, I would assume, women listening here. So in my world with women, nothing is TMI.
Right. We talk about it all.
So, I would come period time, be like, crapping my brains out on the toilet,
Oh.
like just awful diarrhea, horrible cramps, to the point where I just would just cry and cry and cry and not be able to breathe. And it was just so, 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 so awful. And that would be like the first day of my cycle. And sometimes my husband would just feel so helpless and look at me and think like, I think we should go to the ER. I think, I don't know what they're going to do for me other than give me maybe oxycodone,
Oh, man.
So it started off that way: hair loss, weight gain, social anxiety, heart palpitations, chest tightness, the mental awareness of every single breath that I took from the moment I woke up to the moment I went to bed, which you're not supposed to be aware of. It's an autonomic function. It was furthering, just kind of fueling my anxiety, being aware of every breath I took.
Sure.
All kinds of gut issues, food sensitivities, gas and bloating, and pain, digestive pain every day. Oh gosh. Acne, horrible acne.
Did you get the cystic ones?
Cystic acne, perioral dermatitis that I had to go on antibiotics for multiple times. It just kept coming back. I developed a sensitivity to my wedding ring, which is platinum. I could no longer wear it because it just gave me like this ring of fire on my finger every time I wore it. And it was like literally bright red and so angry. And what I didn't know at the time is that there is platinum in silicone breast implants. And so because of that, I developed this reaction to platinum. I no longer have that reaction, but at the time I did. Gosh, the anxiety, I think, was the most debilitating thing because it affected every aspect of my life.
Sure.
All of my relationships, my work, I could barely function. I just remember feeling, I was working in a busy hospital, teaching hospital at the time, lots of bright lights, lots of loud sounds, so many people around. It was just really overstimulating. And I just remember feeling like my skin crawling, being in that place. Like I just want to jump out of my skin and go hide under a rock and leave. Like I just don't want to be here. So I couldn't handle any stress, not difficult conversations, not external stimuli. That was stressful. Working out was stressful. brain fog like you wouldn't believe. I would read something over and over and over and over and could not tell you what I just read.
Wow.
I would forget names and words, common words, like that you say all the time, every day,
Sure.
all day long, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
So those were, I think, some of the most debilitating things for me, some of the most difficult things for me. And they didn't all happen at once. It just developed slowly over time.
Mhm.
So, long story short, I went to lots and lots of different doctors who couldn't help me. I ended up becoming a holistic health practitioner to try to figure myself out.
Mhm.
During my training, my mentor said to me, well, I asked him because I had I had the intuition. I remember early on Googling symptoms developing after breast augmentation. Nothing really showed up. And so I just kept going. I just kept thinking, well, this isn't really a thing. Something else is going on. But there's this little seed in me, in my mind and my heart that was like, my breast implants are a part of this. And I don't know how, but I have to figure this out. When I was in training, I asked him, do you think my breast implants could be a reason why I'm struggling so much with my health? And he said, well, I don't really know anything about breast implants, but they're a foreign object.
Mhm.
You weren't born with them. If you were my wife, I would say get them out as soon as possible because they
Wow.
probably are creating a lot of inflammation in the body. And
Mm.
that might be why you're not healing.
Yep.
And I just thought, oh man, I knew this would be the answer, but I wasn't ready.
Yeah.
I think emotionally, I was still, my body image, my worth
Mhm.
was tied to large breasts.
Mhm.
And I wasn't ready to give them up.
Yeah.
Because what would that mean for me if I got them out? What would I
Mhm.
look like? Would I
Mhm.
be able to love myself?
Yeah.
Would I be able to stand naked in front of my husband?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Or would I be so self conscious that I'd want to hide and
Mm.
keep my clothes on?
Yeah. It's a real fear. I mean, the whole reason that we get them in the first place is because we're insecure most of the time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, and that's not the only reason, but yeah, that's a big reason for a lot of people.
Mhm.
And so it took me a good 6 years to get to the point of being ready to get rid of them and let them go. And it was after doing a lot of deeper work, digging deep into why I felt like I needed these in the first place. Where did that come from? And just working through things and getting to a place where I was okay, feeling okay with going back to a small chest
Mhm.
and finding more of my identity in the things that really matter.
Sure.
And it wasn't like I, got to this place of security in my identity in Christ at that time.
Mhm.
That I think came later.
Sure.
But I found, I am, my husband loves me just the way that I am. He married me just the way that I was, or
Mhm.
born. And finding my identity in who I am as a person,
Mhm.
the good qualities God gave me, and what I do, the gifts that He gave me,
Mhm.
right, to help people and impact other people's lives and things like that, right.
Sure.
I think ultimately the driving factor for me in explanting was infertility.
Mm.
And so the hormonal issues were really significant for me. I developed stage 5. Is that a stage?
Mhm.
I want stage 5 or 4, whatever the highest stage is of endometriosis, and wasn't able to conceive. And we had been trying for many, many years. And so I just thought to myself, if these implants are creating a lot of inflammation in me and impacting my fertility, uh, what are they going to do to a growing child in my body?
Mm.
And I think that was the driving force that led me to finally make that choice to have them removed.
Mhm.
I wanted every opportunity to have a child, and I wanted a healthy child.
Yeah.
All right, that's a whole nother story that we do talk about in one of the very
Mhm.
first few episodes of our podcast if you want to hear about our fertility journeys.
Mhm.
I have not ever had a child.
Mhm.
All right,
Mm.
and I'm fine with it.
Me either.
God has healed and delivered me from that hurt,
Mhm. Same.
that wound. But the point being, it had to be bigger than me.
Yeah.
The why had to be bigger than me.
Mhm.
And so that's, when I explanted, and this became my why for helping other people
Mhm.
as well.
Mhm.
It was my story. So naturally, it just kind of lended to the type of women that I work with,
Sure.
or that I did work with.
Right.
So that's a long the long and short version of it. I
Hmm.
mean, there's so much more than
Oh,
that,
yeah.
but I want to keep it as short as possible. I know I just took up a lot of time talking about it, but I wanted to kind of paint a picture for you all
Hmm.
of what this can look like. And for some people, it's not even totally debilitating.
Hmm.
It's just, you know, subtle things that start showing up, and it's easy to ignore subtle things
Hmm.
until the wall starts falling
Yeah.
down.
Yeah.
Right. And so my encouragement would be, even if there are subtle things happening, pay attention.
Absolutely.
Your body is speaking to you in the language of symptoms, and it's
Hmm.
time to wake up and do something about it,
Yeah.
because you don't want to find yourself, and this isn't encouraging you to act out of fear,
Right.
but out of discernment and wisdom,
Hmm.
right?
Yep.
That if you don't listen to those subtle cues, they will eventually become louder and louder and louder.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, the key is realizing that our symptoms aren't betrayal. It's not our body failing us, it's our body communicating with us. And the
Mm-hmm.
world doesn't really focus on that. Western medicine doesn't really focus on that. It's like, oh, your thyroid's not working. Oh, you have endometriosis. And then it's have a surgery or take medication and I'm not saying that that's always the wrong answer. So I'm not speaking to anything medical. I'm just simply saying that the symptoms are something that need to be paid attention to. They're warning lights on the dash of the car, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and so pay attention to them. It's communication. It's saying, hey, I need attention. It's really important to listen to those. So my
Yeah.
my story is very similar, but the funny and cool and amazing thing about all of this is that, well, first, I want to point out to the fact that I am so grateful that you took the time and invested in your own health journey, because you literally were a pioneer. Like, you had to find these things out the hard way, and then you did your research, and because of that, I got to be one of so many women that you helped in their healing journey. And so I had heard about you. So I'll start with my story. I got them for a similar reason. My dad used
Mm.
to make fun of me in a teasing way, not in a bad way. He would say, "Hey, Satin, stand sideways and stick your tongue out." And I would do it. And he would laugh and he would say, "You're so flat. You look like a zipper." And I
Oh my
mean, I
God.
had two half sisters and four half brothers, but two half sisters. One was really tall and one was really short, and both of them were very well endowed, as was my mom.
Mm.
And so I was like, oh, well, this isn't fair. And so, that was one of those moments that imprinted on my little mind. And so when I went through my second divorce, and I was very emotionally distraught and
Mm.
insecure, wanting to get through it and just feel better about myself, I
Hmm.
got implants. And
It's a common story with
absolutely,
divorce.
oh,
Hmm.
100%, because it's like it's all about me now. Like, I'm hurting and I need some sort of a pacifier to help me feel better about myself going back into the world,
Hmm.
and like gonna have to date again, like, all
Hmm.
the things. And so I did. And I mean, I recovered quickly from the surgery. I was driving the next day. The doctors were shocked. I felt amazing. I loved my new body. It gave me more of an hourglass shape because I've always been very
Hmm.
hippie and super thin my entire like childhood, all the way up through, at that point I was 28. I was skinny. I had people think that I too was anorexic, and so I would get make fun of. But now it's like, ooh, I got boobs now, and so I just felt like I loved my body. And it was, 5 years in, and I started to slowly put on weight. My migraines were in full force, and in the past I mean, I would get them. I was always very prone to get migraines, but at this point it was debilitating very regularly. I couldn't shake the acne, and I was in my 20s, more late 20s, going into my 30s. What, I guess 5 years in, it would have been like all of that into my early 30s, like mortified. Would not leave the
Hmm.
house without makeup. Like, just could not. I mean, there's no way a
Hmm.
grown woman my age should be dealing with acne. is where my thought process was.
Yeah.
Started having gut issues. Never had, I could always eat whatever I wanted. Wasn't good for me. Like you, I ate a bunch of junk food, fast food, all the things, but none of it ever quote unquote bothered me. I never had bad symptoms, never had, irregular bowel movements, wasn't constipated or any of that. And it just was like, oh, this is awful. And moody, super moody, awful periods, like just so many things. And I remember I went and had a mammogram done right, like when I was taking care of my mom, because I felt some lumps in my breast. And I had started, once I put implants in, had started developing cysts very regularly in my breasts. And they
Mm.
would have to aspirate them. And that had already happened 3 different times. Each time it was terrifying, right? But
Yeah.
I kept asking the ultrasound tech, is there any chance this could be my breast implants? Oh no, this is normal. Women get cysts all the time, dense breasts. Like it's you're normal, you're good. They never noticed that my left implant had ruptured. So I don't even know. Maybe at that time it hadn't been ruptured, but I'm told that you have to actually look to see if it's ruptured because when the body develops the capsule over it, you can't always tell that it's ruptured. Like you really have to be intentional with it. So I don't know. But after my mom passed, I knew, okay, I need to deal with these new cysts that have developed. Let's go get a mammogram again. And that radiologist was like, we need to do an ultrasound because I want to check something. I want to check your implant. And I was like, that's weird. Like nobody's ever done that. And he did. And he was like, Satin, your left breast implant's ruptured. And the first thing that went through my mind was, oh my gosh, I have silicone implants. I didn't get the saline. That means silicone is running through my system.
Mm.
And I was like, I got to get these suckers out. And you know what he
Yeah.
said to me was, oh no, you're fine. I mean, you can if you want to. I have plenty of patients that live with them like this. And my like red flags, flashing
Yeah.
warning lights were going on in my head.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm like, okay, we're not supposed to ingest silicone. We're not supposed to have it in our bodies. Like, okay, this doesn't match up. So I remember talking to a friend and her saying, oh, I wonder if you have breast implant illness. And I was like, huh? What? What's that? And so then began my journey into realizing, oh my word, this is a thing. And it's not quite federally acknowledged at that point, but I had had my implants for 13 years and I had just gotten
Hmm.
sicker and sicker. I had gained so much weight. I'm 5'4". I had always been in my low 100s with weight, like bouncing between 102. I was 117 when we got married. By the time I explanted, I was 185 pounds.
Mm.
Like I was
Yeah.
just so unhealthy. And I'm not saying that being big is the problem. It's that I couldn't lose weight or stay healthy because there was so much inflammation in my body.
Hmm.
And so I began the journey of trying to find a surgeon that believed in the correct way to do an explant, which is not
Hmm.
just to remove the implants. Like you've got to
Yeah.
do a complete, remind me of the terminology.
And
An en
block.
bloc, yeah, the en bloc, which removes all of the capsule because that our bodies create around the foreign object. Because if you don't, that tissue carries the silicone and all the other chemicals, platinum, all the things that are in your bloodstream. So you got to get it all out. And sometimes those implants get like plastered and stuck to your
Hmm.
ribs. I've heard horror stories about
Yeah.
the pain of all that. I didn't have that. Mine were super easy. He got them out. But I remember sitting in his office before I made the decision to do it and asking him very intently, what size breast am I going to end up with? And he was like, Satin, I can't say that. What were you before? And I said, I was barely an A. I called them mosquito bites. Like I didn't have to wear a bra. And he was
Yeah.
like, well, I mean, you'll probably end up with a little bit more than that because your weight. So I would
Hmm.
plan for like a B, right? And I was just like, oh my God. At this point, I was a triple D. Like it was wild. And I was overweight. And so I just remember crying and thinking, oh my God, here I am right back where I was, which is facing the reality that this was a band aid. For
Yeah.
13 years, my implant served as a band aid for my insecurity that I have never dealt with. All I did was get implants to pretend that I felt good in my body. And
Yeah.
so I chose to go through with it. I spent months trying to prepare for surgery and all the things. But I didn't know Sarah at that time. And so I explanted. I remember waking up and literally feeling this ginormous weight lifted off my chest. And that may
Yeah.
sound like obvious. Yeah, you pulled your implants out, but no, it was more than that. It literally felt like the source, one of the sources of toxicity in my body was gone. And I just felt this
Mm.
huge relief like, oh, I can breathe again. This is going to be so amazing. And I went several months feeling really good and being so grateful that I explanted. And then the symptoms with gut and all that returned, and I was like, what is going on? This is ridiculous. Like, I took out my
Yeah.
implants, So I remember finding you on a very popular but not healthy Facebook page, um, at all. It's a very toxic
Oh,
space.
yeah. The Facebook pages for breast implant illness, y'all,
They're
are super
bad. They're
toxic.
very toxic. Very, because they don't want to fully acknowledge root causes. They just want the tidy bow wrapped around the story and want you
Hmm.
to believe that explanting is the solution. And it's the first step, period. It's
Yeah.
the first step. For me, I found you, we started working together, and I mean, I remember meeting you for the first time and just being like, oh
Hmm.
my gosh, I feel so seen, so heard, so
Hmm.
understood because you shared your story with me and then you were asking me all the questions. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm not crazy. Like this is a thing. And I just
Hmm.
remember thinking how special it was that I got to work with you. And as we began to work together, I mean, practitioner to client, like it's a pretty intimate relationship. We're talking about
Yeah.
poop. It does not
I
get
like to talk about
I
poop.
do. And I'm like over here going, why are you want to ask me about my poop? She's like, is it solid? Is it runny? Is it mushy? Is it brown? What's the color? And I'm just like, why are we talking about this? So like super intimate conversations, right? But like the funny part is that there was just this, for me, this insane connection. I felt like I could share openly with her. And obviously, you can with your practitioner. You should be able to at least.
Yeah.
But there was something special, and I look back now, going, "Oh God, you're funny. You're so funny. Like you got me through this. You introduced me to Sarah, and then I remember telling her then, like, and I think we've shared this here before, like, I don't know if you're comfortable with this, and I respect the fact if you're not, but especially because of the client practitioner relationship. But if you're open to being friends, I would love to be friends with you. And it took a while, but as far as BII goes, like the journey was wild, and
Mhm.
I mean, I had already after explanting had lost 30 pounds, which was wild,
Yeah.
just through explanting and doing a gluten-free diet. But there was
Mhm.
so much more that you helped me discover about dental work, root canals I had, cavitations from wisdom teeth. I remember the first time you asked me, did you have your wisdom teeth out? And I said, yeah, when I was in my early 20s. And you said, I bet you have cavitations. And I'm thinking cavity. And I'm like, but I don't have wisdom teeth. Like, what's a cavitation? And you're like, it's where there's a hole left from the roots. The skin on the outside grows over from on your gum, but it leaves a hole. And that's where bacteria goes straight into your bloodstream and into your gut. And I was like, oh my word, I've never heard of a cavitation. Okay, so I ended up with 4 of those boogers. And
Mhm.
through dealing with those, pulling my root canal, doing ozone shots and all the things, like, oh my gosh, it was just night and day. My husband was like, I got my wife back. This is amazing, you know? And so I'll back up to before I explanted, dealing with the body image issue. There's a specific book by one of my favorite authors, Jess Connolly, titled Breaking Free from Body Shame. Sarah like knows this. Like, I have done emotional support groups for this like multiple times. I
Yeah.
personally have read it multiple times. She reminded me that I probably need to read it again now because I'm like super struggling.
Menopause or
Yes,
perimenopause.
perimenopause. I'm like, okay, I need to learn to love my
Yeah.
body again. I need to talk good about my body and not criticize it and all the things. But it's been a journey. Like, it really has been a journey. It it's not an easy one. You know, it's funny how the devil does this. He
Yeah.
creates easy fit. No, he doesn't create anything. He presents easy fixes like, hey, just get breast implants. You'll feel better about your body.
Yeah.
And they come with so many consequences. So it's like the shiny,
Yeah.
bright, sparkly package of a new body in the form of breast implants wreaked havoc on my body for years, then wreaked havoc on my wallet
Yeah.
because of all that I had to invest to heal, right? And so it's
Yeah.
just it's not there's never a quick fix. It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter how sparkly or shiny. Like, the real thing that we have got to focus on is the root cause. Why am I wanting these so bad? Why do I feel I need this filler? Why do I feel I need these implants? Because we need to be able to love the body that God created for us. It was
Yeah.
designed with utmost love. And sure, they're going to be flawed. We live in a fallen world. Like, nothing is going to be
Yeah.
perfect this side of heaven. And so, learning to love the body that God gave us and remembering that it's a tool for the kingdom. It's
Yeah.
not a trophy to be,
Right.
displayed and look.
Mm-hmm.
We are bearers of the identity of Christ, and so that really is our purpose in life. And so, when we fail to love the body He gave us, we fail to accurately and intentionally follow the call that He's placed on our lives. So,
Yeah. I think that's so true. And one thing that I have really kind of leaned into is this understanding that we need to have awareness of where our desires are coming from.
mhm,
Is it rooted in insecurity?
yeah.
Is it comparison?
Mhm,
Right? Comparison is such a big one for women.
mhm,
And as we all know, comparison is the thief of joy.
yeah.
Every single time it is.
Yeah.
Whether you're comparing your lifestyle or your body
Mhm.
or,
Your
your
relationships.
family,
Mhm,
your relationships, whatever it may be, it kills joy.
yeah.
And so, from decisions like getting breast implants or even something as simple as coloring your hair,
Sure.
you know what I mean?
Sure.
Like all these vanity things, these
Mhm,
decisions we make based on
yeah.
vanity. Why are we making these choices? Why do we feel we want to do that or
Mm,
need to do that?
sure.
And so I think these are things that we can take to the Lord
Yeah.
and invite Him into. Lord, show me my heart.
Mhm,
And really, like, I just feel better. I just feel prettier when
mhm.
I don't have gray roots,
Sure.
which I do right now.
Uh,
I feel prettier. I feel like I look younger. I like, I just feel better about myself when I get rid of my gray hair.
sure.
All right. It's not hurting me. It's not hurting anyone else.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
So, like, some of the things are just not a big deal. But, like, if they're deep rooted insecurities that continue, we make a decision like get breast implants based on that, and that's still not enough.
Right.
Right? We're always seeking the next thing. Okay, now I need filler in my lips because my lips aren't big enough.
Mhm,
And now I need filler in my cheeks because my
mhm,
cheeks aren't prominent enough. And
mhm,
now I need a facelift,
mhm,
right? Because now I'm in my 50s or whatever it may be, and everything is sagging, and now I need to lift it up so I can
mhm,
keep up with the anti-aging world that we're
Yeah.
living in,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Oh,
That
yeah.
sets this expectation of what we need to look like as women in
Sure.
order to be beautiful,
Sure.
right? So I think we really need to be digging deep into why.
Yeah. Well,
And it's okay to say yes to some of these things if it lines up spiritually
sure.
and it's not hurting you spiritually.
Sure. The narrator of our life.
Yeah.
Like it
If it's not telling us we have to do this to have the identity that we think we should
sure.
have,
If we're finding our
right?
security in the Lord
Right.
and not continuing to seek a better identity, right? Like I remember when I decided to get implants and my mom asked me, she was like, "Is this going to be enough?" And I was like, "What
Yeah.
do you mean?" And she's like, "Satin, first you wanted braces because you just weren't happy with your teeth, right?" And she's like, "And
Mm.
now you're wanting this. Like, what's next?" And I remember
Yeah.
thinking, I mean, I was kind of offended. I was like, "Oh, mom, like it's not bad to want straight teeth and have braces and like I just want boobs because I've never had them before." And she wasn't wrong. Like there was a lot of
Hmm.
wisdom in that question because our insecurities can drive those decisions and they shouldn't. That should not be what drives our decisions.
Yeah. And I think equally as important as digging into the why behind making those types of decisions, it's also equally as important to dig into the why for reversing those types of decisions. Like
Sure.
in our case, having the implants removed, going into embarking on this deeper healing journey that is not comfortable,
Yeah.
right? It stretches you.
Sure.
It makes you question sometimes, like, am I ever going to get better? Is this just my life now?
Sure.
And I think we really need to be considering why, because it needs to be a big enough why,
Hmm.
and it has to be bigger than just you.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so I also think in this healing journey, people, and me too, because this was me for many years when I was trying to get better and trying to figure myself out and just wanted to feel good again in my body.
Right.
I was striving. I was constantly just
Mm.
striving and striving and striving. I was trying to figure it all. I was spending so much time Google searching and researching, and I think at the sacrifice of everything else in my
Sure.
life, right? It consumed me.
Right.
It consumed my thoughts 100% of the time. It consumed all of my time during the day, my free time,
Hmm.
and at the detriment of everything. So you have to kind of count the cost of why you're doing things,
Sure.
the decisions that you make. And I think when it comes to our walk with the Lord, I think we need to be taking these things to Him. And I
Hmm.
think we need to be in our prayer life, not just praying, Lord, heal me.
Sure.
We need to be praying, Lord, like, come be in this with me,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Yeah.
inviting Him into the process with you.
Hmm.
And if it's okay to ask for healing,
Sure.
but also we need to have the right motive,
Right.
right? Why do you want this healing?
Hmm.
And so I think the bigger motive is when we're debilitated
Yeah.
and we can't
Yeah.
function, we can't really walk out our purpose in
Mm-mm.
life that He's created us for,
Sure.
And so I think the healing really has to become about because or so that
Mhm.
I can do what you've called me to do,
Yes, for sure.
you know,
Hmm.
not just about ourselves.
Right.
And I think we get so tunnel visioned on ourselves, and
Hmm.
everything is about us.
Hmm.
Everything is about you when you don't feel good,
Sure.
right?
Sure. Well,
So,
and part of that process is surrender, right? Like learning,
yeah,
oh man, I have got to really fully surrender my life to the Lord, which looks like surrendering those insecurities, surrendering the desires, and saying, Lord, replace my insecurities with your confidence and help me to see myself the way you see me, to see that my body is a temple of the Holy Spirit with which you
yeah,
dwell, and that
yeah,
for me to be whole and healthy looks like walking in abundance as I am abiding in you, walking in contentment as I'm abiding in you, that my life is a fragrance that is pleasing to you, that when people see my life and they see the health that came from the journey I'm on, that I can give you the praise and the glory, that it's your story and for your glory, right? And I
Yeah.
think, I know, in my own journey, there was, so many boxes to check, things to do, all of that, supplements to take and regimens to do to heal. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes we struggle with the controlling aspect of it. And
Yeah.
instead of truly surrendering the journey, the healing journey to the Lord and saying, what can you teach me in this, right? Where the reality is we aren't in control, and
Yep.
our bodies are limited earthside. We will never fully be completely whole. There will always be a thorn in our side of some sort that we have to
Mm-hmm.
surrender to the Lord. And so trusting the Lord in the journey, I remember asking you multiple times when, you know, different protocols were really hard. How much
Mm-hmm.
longer? How much longer?
Mm-hmm.
And is this really going to work? Am I really ever going to get my life back? And so that control is not
Mm-hmm.
surrender. And the reality is we cannot control the outcome, but we can control the surrender. And so in the
Mm-hmm.
journey, when it's hardest, is to lean on the Lord and truly say, God, I don't
Yeah.
know what's going to come from this. And I
Yeah.
may not ever feel 100%, but I still want to honor you with my body. I still want to honor you with my life.
Life.
Can you use this? How can you use
Yeah.
this? And what can you teach me in this? And it's hard. It is not
Yeah.
easy, but like part of the surrendering process is trusting that He will do what is best for us and He will give us the strength we need to do the hard things. And then sometimes He just gives us the acceptance of an imperfect body living in a fallen world, right?
Yeah.
But clinging to Him, you know?
Yep.
So,
Yep. Yeah, all of that is so wise and so true. And I think it's so much easier to see that in hindsight than
sure.
it is to see it in the moment, in the
Totally.
thick of it, in the
Yeah.
wilderness, when you're weary and you're tired and you're just suffering,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? And, this healing journey, regardless of what the root causes are, because
Mm-hmm.
it's plural,
Sure.
it's never just one thing.
Sure.
It's it's usually a long journey.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think, people have asked me, do you have regrets getting your breast implants knowing what you know now?
Mm-hmm.
And what you've been through? And I always say no,
Yeah.
because having gone through all of that, even though it was so hard and I suffered for
Sure.
so long, it really led me to where I am today. And
Absolutely.
had I not gone through
Mm-hmm.
that, I would not be where I am today.
Absolutely.
I wouldn't be where I am today with my health.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be where I am today in my relationships
Mm-hmm.
and how my communication has evolved and developed
Sure.
over time.
Sure.
I wouldn't be as confident as I am today.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be as secure in my identity as I am today.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have met the people that I've met,
Yeah.
like you,
Yeah.
right? You wouldn't be in my life.
Right. This wouldn't be a thing.
Right. And we wouldn't be doing this
No.
podcast, right? Like
Yeah.
God takes everything and uses it for our good and his glory. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes our good is that long suffering
Yes.
and developing and building resilience
Mm-hmm.
and what's the word? Um,
Endurance.
Endurance. Thank
Mm-hmm.
you. Endurance.
Yeah.
Because he's preparing us
Yeah.
for more. He's preparing us for something here, earthside, and he's preparing us for eternity with him.
Mm-hmm.
And so even when we can't see the why behind why he's allowing something, we can trust that the one who created us, the one who made a way to save us from ourselves,
Yeah.
from our sin, the one who is always with us and never leaves us, he has a reason.
Yeah.
And he doesn't always reveal that.
No.
And that's his choice. That
Sure.
is not our decision to make,
Sure.
right? And it is not okay for us to hold that against him,
Yeah.
right? And And I think in all of this, it's so important to be in a relationship with Him and abiding in Him and
Mm-hmm.
take that suffering to Him and pour it out,
Mm-hmm.
right? Pour out all of our
Yeah.
struggles and our fears and our doubts and our why, Lord, and how long, Lord,
Yeah.
and,
Lament.
like
Lament.
lament,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Take that to Him because that is intimacy.
Absolutely.
That is trust,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right? Trusting that we can be vulnerable and say the things that are on our hearts and in our minds without fear of rejection
Yeah.
or condemnation.
Well, I think the beautiful, of course, I'm on the other side of this, but I want to encourage anyone who might be in it that the beautiful thing about feeling broken in our bodies is that it puts us in a place of vulnerability and we have
Mm-hmm.
a choice. Are we going to use that vulnerability to be bitter and
Yeah.
angry and resentful and walk in shame and walk in regret? Or in surrender to Holy Spirit, are we going to allow Him to break us in the places that need to be broken because we're hard hearted or we're prideful? Do we need Him to mend us in the places where we're insecure and we're hurting, where we've had wounds spoken to us or we've done them ourselves and we're walking in shame? Like, it can be such a beautiful journey when surrendered to the Lord, because when we're vulnerable, He
Mm.
can do His best work. It's when we're
Yeah.
not vulnerable, when we're not willing to tell Him, God, I don't think I can do this anymore. When we're not willing to be that vulnerable with Him, He can't work as well in our lives because we don't let Him, because we're filled with pride and we think we have all of the answers. But it's in
Mm-hmm.
our brokenness, our realization that our bodies need healing, and that there are tools available, to utilize for them, but that ultimately they're still always going to be broken and He
Yeah.
can still use them, right? And so,
Mm-hmm.
like, I think of what you said earlier, where you said, do I regret ever putting like getting the implants? And I have said yes in my own life, just being transparent. I have said yes, like, God, I wish I wouldn't have. If I would have known all of this, there's no
Mm-hmm.
way I would have done it. I
Yeah.
even remember questioning the surgeon because I knew there'd been a recall on silicone implants. And she was like, oh no, everything's
Mm-hmm.
fine. But I agree with you. I agree with you in the sense that I regret that I made a choice that affected my body so negatively for decades.
Mm-hmm.
However, I serve a God that has redeemed every part of my story. And that's
Yeah.
the beauty in it. So, sure, I'm bummed I made that choice, but man, what have I learned along the way? How I have learned to serve my body and give it the things that it needs to be healthy. And I've learned about my body, and I've learned just how God was so intentional when He created us and when He created the
Mm-hmm.
earth. And when we do life His way, it's just better. And
Yeah.
I would not have learned all of that had I not gone through it. And so, like other things in my life, failed marriages and divorce and infertility and broken friendships, like, God has just redeemed all of it for me. And I know He will
Yeah.
continue to do that. That's just, I don't know. I just want to encourage anyone who feels like they're in the thick of it. Like, there really is redemption in your brokenness, but it takes
Yeah.
vulnerability. And like Sarah said, pour your heart out, lament, um, face all the shame, face all the regret, but surrender it, because it's in the surrender that He brings all the healing, and then He gets
Yeah.
the glory for our story. So,
Absolutely. And I think it is so important to point out that He is the healer in all of
yes,
this, right? That
yes,
we are not the
yep,
healers. I am not the healer as a
yeah,
practitioner. Our bodies, yes, were designed by Him to be always trying to just get back into balance, right? And function the way that He designed them to.
sure.
But like you said, we live in a fallen world and
Mhm,
it's always fighting against all of these external stressors. And so that it is a little bit of an uphill battle.
mhm,
And we have tools, God given tools that we can use to do what we need to do to work
mhm,
towards restoring balance and health.
sure.
And we don't do it in a striving
Right.
way, right? We do what we need to do, and we trust him with the rest of
Sure.
it. We trust him with the
Yep.
outcome, right? We don't have control
Mm-mm.
over the outcome of what we're doing.
No.
All we have control over is whether we do it or not.
Right.
Right. And he's the one in control of the outcome. He's the healer. And whether he decides to heal or not
Mhm.
is up to him.
Right.
And can he take it all away in 1 second in time?
Sure.
Yes. Will he? Maybe. Maybe not.
Right.
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 But that doesn't mean that he's not still good.
Right. Or
Right.
or that you're being punished, because
Or that you're being
I think
punished, right?
sometimes we think like, oh, well, this is my punishment for whatever I did in my past, or, and that's just, there's consequences, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
But when we walk with the Lord, He's never wanting to punish us. He corrects us, He disciplines us,
Yes.
and we have to face the consequences of some of the choices
Yeah.
that we make. So,
It's like a parent,
Yeah.
disciplining their child.
Sure.
It's how we learn.
right. Yeah.
Right. It's not condemnation. There's no condemnation for those in Christ Jesus.
Mhm.
But yes, there is consequence, and he does discipline out of love.
Yes, He does. Always
Yeah.
out of love for our good.
Yeah. Yes. So we didn't get into all of the reasons why breast implants are problematic today. And, that could be a whole nother episode. But if you want to learn more about that, I would just simply do Google search my name. You will find
Mhm.
probably either one of my websites. I have an article on my website at sarahphilippi.com about breast implant illness. I have a whole website for breast implant illness called reversingbreastimplantillness.com. I've done many, many, many interviews. So if you search my name, you'll probably come across many different interviews I've done where I do talk about those things.
Sure. Spell out your name.
But we wanted
Spell out your name just so that they can find it, just because it is a unique last name. So
yeah, well, Sarah with an H and Phillippe, Philippi.
yeah, sarahphilippi.com.
Yep. So as we wrap up this conversation, we hope that this helps shed some light on the topic of breast implants and breast implant illness. If you're someone who has breast implants, or if you have a loved one who has breast implants and is struggling, or even if you don't have breast implants, but you're struggling with your health for some other reason, I hope that this left you with some encouragement in some way or another. And we want to leave you with some of these questions just to reflect. Where have you been striving in your health? Have you been treating symptoms or seeking root causes? What would it look like to invite God into your healing journey? And is there something that He's asking you to surrender today?
I just want to speak to your heart and say, you are not broken. You are not behind. You're not crazy for knowing that something is off in your body. Your body was designed by God on purpose and with a purpose. And your healing journey, it really does matter to Him.
This isn't just about healing your body. It's about coming back into alignment with how God designed you to live, whole, surrendered, and free. And if you have felt alone in your walk with God, in your healing journey, your health journey, or if you're just craving deeper connection with Spirit-filled sisters, we want to invite you into something really special. It's our Spirit-filled Sisterhood community, and we would love to walk alongside you. So just click the link on the show notes and request to join. We'd love to welcome you in.
Hey, sister. We hope today's episode encouraged your heart and reminded you that you're not walking this journey alone.
If it did, would you share it with a friend and leave a quick review on Apple Podcasts? It helps us to spread the message of faith, friendship, and kingdom purpose.
Remember, you were made to live surrendered, walk boldly, and link arms with sisters who point you back to Jesus.
We'll meet you back here next Wednesday for more Spirit-filled Girl Talk.